Hey there guys, I hope you're having a great evening. I'm sorry this is coming to you so late in the day. I had all my prep work done early, but the day got away from me. We had gymnastics and we had a birthday party, then we went apple picking. Amazing time with family this weekend, and I hope you had a great time as well. So I just wanted to say, one of the big things about trading is it's great. You can do it independently. You can do it from anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection and you have a computer. That is awesome. But many times it's amazing to be able to go ahead and connect with other traders in person. So I am heading out to California next month in October, and I'm just setting up a little meetup for traders. I do work in the training pit, which is part of the Stock Whisperers umbrella. I'm also in the Java pit. So a lot of the members will be there. We'll be talking about trading the dark pool, how awesome it is. But if you are one of my followers and you do live out in the California area and you want to come and you want to chat and talk stocks, we will be doing it October 24th at the Sagebrush Cantina right here. And if you do want to register to come out and just hang out with us, just to make sure that I have enough space for people, just sign up with the Eventbrite event right here that I have shown. I have the link down below, so just sign up there. And that is going to be, I'm flying out to LA, and then I'm going to be traveling down to San Diego, where I'm going to be participating in the 4th annual, they have the 3rd annual, but I think it's the 4th, Summit for Trade Ideas. Last year was an amazing event. They've got some great speakers coming out this year as well. So definitely check it out. And if you want to save 40%, the promo code is down below as well. So you can just click on the link and you sign up. It's definitely, seating is limited because, as you can see, it's the top floor of the Symphony Towers here. So I think the seating is limited to 100. So definitely make sure that you sign up. Last year we had Brian Shannon, we had Brett Sternberger, amongst some other great speakers, Kunal Desai, as well as one of Kunal's partners. So definitely check it out. Highly recommend it. Love going to events like these, meeting up with fellow traders, and just being super psyched and enthusiastic to talk shop. All right, let's go ahead and get into this week's watch list. So as always, you guys know I was a registered licensed broker. I'm no longer current with my Series 7, so please do your own due diligence in trading and please trade with proper risk management. All right, these are just my opinions, and it is, there's no guarantees in trading any sort of security instrument. So little disclaimer there. All right, so we'll go ahead and check out the SPY. So you can see we've got this trend line right here, which we keep testing, and it pulls back, right? We pulled back from that. That was way back there as well earlier last year. And we have this dotted trend line as well. So we bounced up above the dotted trend line and then pulled down closer. If we actually look at it on a 45-minute chart, you can see we tested that trend line here, bounced up, and then boom, we broke down on Friday. So it looks like at this point in time, we might be going in that bearish action right on down to the 296.50 area. If we could break down from there, we'd potentially be looking at the 50-day simple moving average of 294.94. Let's look at the NASDAQ as well. So NASDAQ is pretty strong. I don't know why I had that there. Let me just remove that. Don't move. So we've got it, it's going up. We tested the upper trend line here, and then we came back down, tested the lower trend line. So we're in an ascending wedge, right? So we came up, tested again, came back down here. Are we going to bounce and break up, or are we going to go ahead and break on down further? We do have the 50 simple moving average right here, this blue line, 189.43, and then potentially on down here lower, 186.83 as potential targets further down. The orange line, which is the 20 simple moving average, is hovering right here, right around that 50. So it's probably going to act as pretty strong support if we do get down to that area, and we might find a bounce there before heading right back up. So we shall see what happens with this week going forward. We can see we had higher volume on the buying candle right here, a little bit lower on that sell-off, and then a little bit higher again down here. So are we bouncing off this 21 EMA? We shall see. Let's look at the Russell. All right, so Russell, we have, let's pull it back on the weekly chart. Go ahead and see these trend lines a little bit better here. So we have this trend line back here that we have bounced off of, right? It keeps holding. We bounced here up, came back, tested it. Actually looking like we're holding more off of this. This is the light green. That's going to be 120 simple moving average. So we're bouncing up off of that. So we could potentially see a breakout above 160 would be very, actually right here, 160.50 would be very bullish, but this is acting as strong resistance. You see that? How many times have we tested there? 1, 2, we broke up, came back down, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that we're testing here. So is this going to be the upcoming week where we break out to new highs and continue with this uptrend? Or are we going to break, you know, we've got that ascending up triangle as well right here. Not a wedge, but ascending triangle. So are we going to break out and break above and then go up and test the highs that we had back in August of 2018? Or is it going to break down further here? You can see that we've really sort of consolidated. I like looking at the weekly to get that trend analysis for the indexes overall. All right, let's go to potential longs for the week. Now, I do say potential longs and potential shorts because the levels that I'm going to give you for resistance and support, those have been determined based on the price action from the day prior. So if those big sellers that were creating that resistance are now gone, then it could likely break out, right? If the support that was buying it and holding it up is no longer there, all of those buyers are gone, well then there's a good likelihood that it can go down. So I'll draw it out for you guys too, and here we are on the SCS 15-minute chart. So you can see support, it came here, it tested once, it tested twice and bounced, and then our resistance of 1846, 1850 area. So I would look for $18 for support, 1850-ish for resistance. And you can see that it broke out. This was prior resistance before it broke out, and now it looks like it's flipped to be support. There was earnings. It was a strong day after earnings. So for potential 2 to 3 more days to the upside, will it break out of that 52-week high of 1935? So it is good to keep it on watch. It has 84 million in the float, and it was 39% short float volume on Friday. Next potential long, SEAC. So pull back to our 15-minute chart here, right? Pretty messy. So I did still draw my trend lines based on where it was bouncing, and it's more apparent on that daily chart. So 289 for support, 312 for resistance. And when we look at it on the yearly chart, I also added that 330 as a secondary wave of resistance for it to potentially break out, right? So we've got this up, down. Are we going to break here and break up and test this again? Or is this going to act as resistance and drop it back down here to the 240s? So we shall see. Watch 289 and 312 for those levels to be broken. 26.5 million in the float, and it was 45% short float volume on Friday. ARCT, next potential long. Pulling it back on the 15-minute chart. Look at this nice upward trend, right? We've had a nice upward trend all week, finished fairly strong with a bit of a pullback on Friday. Looking for resistance of 1377 and support of 1290. On that yearly chart, we're not at the 52-week high level, but it could be a cup and handle type setup, right? We've had this, although we had this breakout here and it had a downward selling, and then we broke below this level and it continued down, found support down here, riding this 50 simple moving average, and then finally broke out and higher than normal volume. It did have a bit of sell-off for selling wick on Friday. However, this one does have 62% short float volume on Friday. It has 6.5 million in the float. So if you do start to see big volume pre-market, before all of those shorts could potentially get out, we might have a squeeze into open on Monday. So definitely keep it on watch, especially if you are able to trade pre-market. Next potential long, HRI. So here we go, HRI looking at support of 48.23 and resistance of 49.99. Now you can see our 52-week high is 52.72 over here. So looking at it on the yearly, you can see this area had acted as resistance before, once, twice, 3 times, and this is the 4th test up here. So is this going to break out and break above that 50 level? If we pull it back just a little bit further, you can see that this area really acted as support in the past. And you will see that many times. You know, computers that had bought there in the past could be potentially selling there. So watch for that to be broken. If all of those sellers do disappear, you could go up potentially to 5250 area. This does have 28 million in the float and 54% short float volume on Friday. The last potential long on the list, I do say potential longs and potential shorts because that's been the trend. So these have all been potential long trends for buying opportunities. Okay, here we have ENS. So 67.66, the red right here as our support, and 68.84 for resistance. You can see it's been upward trending, came down, and then on Friday, nice big upsurge. So looking at it on our yearly chart. If you guys have questions while I'm doing this, just type them in and I'll try to answer them for you as well. So came up, it tested our 200 simple moving average right here at 68.63. So it could go up and test that and break out further. I would look for a potential test at 70.25 as well. If it does break out, it does have 41.7 million in the float, and it was 60% short float volume on Friday. Going into our potential shorts, we have CVET. So CVET breaking down at 52-week lows. If you guys follow me, you know that I like to watch these potential lows for multiple reasons. If we are hitting a 52-week low, people get that news, fear starts to set in, more selling tends to happen until the big guys or big buyers start coming in and saying, wait, hold on, this is a little oversold. Let's start buying into this opportunity. They find support, it slowly curls up, and then you start to have that long-term upward trend. So I love looking for these 52-week stocks, putting them on a list, and tracking where they go from there. For now, I do have this on the potential short with support of, let's see here, 1220 to be broken to the downside and resistance of 1261. When we pull it back on the yearly chart, you can see it does have that massive sell-off. Well, we had this gap down on earnings, right? Came up, found resistance up here at 1514, and it found the low of 1220. It closed 7 cents above that low. So we shall see what it does going into the week, but it looks like it's in that downward action, right? CVET does have 97 million in the float. Next potential short is ARCT with 16.5 million in the float. If we look at it on the yearly chart, let's see, we came down, bounced up, and it looks like a nasty H formation, right? Sort of right here and then down. We just set a new 52-week low on Friday. It did have a nice bounce of $1 off of the low. However, it did have massive selling. You can see that big volume candlestick right there, right? So 71 for potential support and 73.31. We'll look at it on the 15-minute chart here. So it really oscillated between the two levels on Friday. Massive volume at the end of the day. Don't know which direction that will be, so we shall see going into the week on Monday. Keep it on watch. Next potential short, APEI with 15.3 million in the float. So again, downward trend overall. It did have massive volume at the end of the day on Friday. I would look for support to be broken to the downside of 2267 and resistance of 2306. Looking at it on that yearly chart, we do have this hitting a new 52-week low. When we look back at the 5-year chart, you can see this area had acted as support and resistance in the past, right? You can see it keeps testing this area right here. So if it breaks down, potentially down here to 2130, actually 2115, 2120 level, then potentially down to the 20 area for APEI. Next potential short, Dryden restaurants, all right? So we look at it on the 15-minute chart, look for support of 119.27 to be broken to the downside and 120.90 to the upside. It does have 122 million in the float. When we look back on the yearly chart, all right, let's bring it back up here. We can ignore these. This is old from earlier. When you look at it, it tested up here, pulled down, up here, pulled down, up here, break up a little bit, pulled down. And it's just a bigger channel really between 122.50 and 115. So it's broken up above. It had a nice breakout, and now it's pulling back with earnings. We had first red day, second red day, looking for that third red day continuation, potentially down to 117.25. If it does break below that, I think you might be seeing that 115 area again reappearing, 115.50. So keep that on watch. And final potential short, JCI. Been looking great, making new 52-week highs, right? And however, it does look like we've found consolidation right here. Is it going to break out even higher, or is it going to break down? Don't know, but be prepared either side of the trade. It looks like a good potential setup, depending on which direction this volume was. Is this massive volume of shorting or massive volume of buying? We will see in this week coming up. 43.88 for support and 44.25. It did close down closer to the 4 EMA, so looking for that. I think I have the 8 EMA hidden, or maybe I deleted it. Anyway, I got to put it back on. So it does look like it's found real resistance up here, 44.50 area. Every time it's tested that, we've seen sellers step in. So looking to see if it could break above really 44.50, the high of the year, or is it going to continue to break down? We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of that test, all of those showing selling wicks. So looking to see if we can also fill this gap to the downside down here, down to 43.20. That would be the first target down there. All right, guys, hope you have a great week ahead. Would love to see you either in LA or in San Diego, and also out in Dallas in November. I'll be putting that link up again later, a little bit later in the next videos. Have a great week ahead. Carpe Profit, guys. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Have a great night.